and good evening, depending on the various time zone in various continents of the world. Reaching you is from Biafra Economic Forum. This forum was established 3 years ago, and basic is to discuss the economy of Biafrans in general. Before I continue, I must congratulate Nnamdi Kanu for his wonderful works and the things he's doing for Biafrans. And he has proven himself to be a man that has all it takes for the Biafran nation to be restored. Now, I can say, let me just go back memory lane. As a child, I was 10 years old when my father handed over to me a book, The Biafra Revolution, written by Alexander Madibu. I went through that book as a child. I read that book cover to cover, and it kept me, wondering. And I asked my father, what is Biafra all about? He told me Biafra was once a nation that succeeded and that fought a war of independence for 3 years. And I said, is that all? He says, that is not all. The country actually has a capital, money, and so on and so forth. And I told myself, that is wonderful to hear. But I didn't know much about Biafra, what Biafra is all about, and what Biafra stands for. I grew up wondering what Biafra is all about, because all he could tell me as a father was the book he gave to me. After going through that book, like I said, a book written by Alexander Madibu, stays The Biafra Revolution. I went through that book, and it kept me wondering what Biafra is all about. Now, in my growing up, I discovered a lot of people talk about ill words about Ojukwu. And I went home. I said, that book you gave me speaks about Ojukwu leading a war of secession for Biafra independence. And I told myself, okay, if Ojukwu happened to be a man that led the civil war to give freedom to his people, then who is then Alexander Madibu? I kept asking questions until it got to 2012. That 2012, I was in Winners Chapel then, known as Lady Faith Church. And there was free internet. And the phone I was actually using then was BlackBerry Curve 2. In that BlackBerry Curve 2, I mistakenly dabbled into some messages from Onyendu himself, Nnamdi Kanu. And I downloaded some message and I was reading. From there, I joined his conversation on Facebook, and I discovered the way he was actually speaking. That was 2012. And it got me thinking, this man sounding this way. What has he come to do? Okay, he has come to that country. I read in The Biafra Revolution, written by Alexander Madibu. It kept me wondering. And I was in that Facebook. I was among those that actually joined Onyendu, Nnamdi Kanu's Facebook page. That was in 2012. And the next time I heard of Biafra again was on my way from Okigwe. That should be around 6 to 7 p.m. in the evening. I was actually driving down. I actually had Biafra National Anthem because my father used to sing the Biafra National Anthem. On the radio, I had Biafra National Anthem singing, and all I could hear was, an Iroko has fallen. As an Iroko has fallen. And I asked myself, who is that Iroko that has fallen? Behold, it was late Odenibu. That was January 15, 2015. Precisely, yes. January 15, 2015. He said, an Iroko has fallen. An Iroko has fallen. And I said, okay, let me hear. Which Iroko is that? That has fallen. The next I heard was Odenibo. Odenibo has fallen. And I told myself, wow, who is this Odenibo? I went online to make some research about who Odenibo is. I discovered Odenibo happened to be a man that stood beside Ojukwu in the Civil War, and he has a lot on him to offer. Wow. Now, going through the book written by Alexander Madebo, I discovered a lot of things that actually happened in the course of the Civil War that lasted for 3 years. Biafra declared, 30th May 1967. And I asked myself, a lot of people died in the course of the Civil War. And I asked my father, what happened to those people that died and how were they buried and so on and so forth? He never asked that question until I was in a program in Lagos hosted by Nuhu Kure. Nuhu Kure happened to be a man from the north and a Kaduna man for that matter. And he was talking about for Nigeria to work, there has to be a national apology to the Biafrans in general. I said, wow. To the Igbo nation. I said, wow. You mean there has to be a national apology to the Igbo Biafran nation for this country called Nigeria to have to go into arrest, to have a peace? And I said, will that actually happen? In that meeting, he explained some few things, how he applied to the Enugu state government to allow him into the old Eastern Nigerian parliament. He actually applied to go in there and pray to see if God can speak to him about Nigerian problems. Lo and behold, he said he entered into that building and all he could hear was voices of the dead, people that were killed in the Civil War, and their voices were being echoed. They were crying for help, some were crying for water, some were crying for food, and so on and so forth. And I said, wow, you mean a Hausa man actually went to Enugu in old Eastern Nigerian parliament to look at what led to the problem Nigeria is actually facing? And he said for Nigeria to find her rest, Nigeria needs to apologize to the Biafrans. And to me, I thought it's going to be that very, very easy for Nigeria to come up and apologize to the Biafran nation. It didn't happen. Apology wasn't rendered to the Biafran people, how they were killed and massacred in their numbers. Now, Nnamdi Kanu Onyendu was sent by God to actually come, to bring succor, to bring peace to the people of Biafra. He came and officially buried those that died during the Biafran Civil War and laid them to rest and laid them to and buried them officially. Igbo nakwaya ikwa madakwa ikwa ozu. They weren't buried, and vultures feasted on them. It was a bloody war. It was a war that hunger was used. Food was used as a weapon of warfare, and people starved to death. Kwashoko, the children all died in Kwashoko of malnutrition. No food to eat. God kept a deaf ears. OAU kept a deaf ears. Harold Wilson and the rest kept a deaf ears and watched Biafras being massacred in their millions. Children being starved to death. I thank a man like Ojukwu that didn't plan the 1966 Civil War. And when the counter coup was organized to finish the people of Biafra, Ojukwu stood. He says, I declare Biafra just to draw a line. I declared Biafra just to draw a line. And that line was just to separate the people of the East, called the Biafrans, from the people of Nigeria. Like Onyendu rightly says. He says, We have different value system. Our women tie two-piece wrapper. They tie one-piece wrapper. What we believe, they don't believe in it. We are Republicans in nature, yes. That's what we are. We are not them. And we can't, oil and water cannot mix. The Yorubas, the Hausas, and the Igbos cannot live together. It's been proven that we cannot live together. Like I said, thank Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, for he has come and buried those that were killed in millions, their souls to rest. And today happened to be 30th of May, 2020, 53 years after the Biafra Civil War, the bloody Civil War that saw people being killed in their millions, a bloody Civil War that never experienced ceasefire for one day. It was fire and fire and fire for good 3 years. People died in their numbers, in their millions. We stand today to remember those that were killed in millions. May their soul rest in perfect peace. Amen. Yahweh Yeshua Amashiach, Hashem Elohim in heaven, uphold their souls, protect their souls, and keep them safe. Without Biafra, we are finished. With Biafra, Africa will emerge. With Biafra, Africa will emerge. With Biafra, there will be what? A technological revolution. Africa to emerge, Biafra has to emerge. Because the Biafrans are resilient people. Biafrans are people destined for greatness. Today happened to be that yesterday, that tomorrow we talked about. Today happened to be that day we all wait for, to see, to remember our fallen heroes. Today is that day in which we live to remember those that were killed in millions, in their numbers. I, Mazi Chinedu Nnadi, is saying, may the souls of those killed in the cause of the Civil War rest in peace. Our people suffered. Like my father rightly said, he says the little boy I carried as a child was killed in that Civil War. He didn't come back. And even till death, my father is 90 years of age. He's still crying over the death of that young man that died. Our people were massacred in millions. And yet, the Nigerian government said we shouldn't remember those that were killed in their number. Why shouldn't we remember our people that were killed? Why shouldn't we remember them? We have the right. How can you slap a child and say, don't cry, keep quiet, you mustn't cry? No, we need to cry to remember those that died in their millions, in their numbers. Those that were killed belong to a family. They're not animals, they're human beings. And what we're still going through, what we went through then, the people of Biafra is still going through it today. We are being marginalized as a people. Look at the Biafran land. We have water, yet we can't use our sea to import our goods. We have airport, yet international plane cannot land in our land. You cannot fly from our land to foreign nations like America, like the UK. We have to connect to Abuja or connect to Lagos before we can see the outside world. Before now, the West, that Nigeria got self-independence. The Eastern Nigeria got self-independence. The Northern Nigeria got self-independence. That was 3 nations in one. These 3 nations in one, how come embassies can only be found in Lagos and in Abuja. We don't have embassy here in Port Harcourt or in Enugu. And you say Nigeria is one. How is it one? It's not one. And it's not destined to be one. I'm making this video reaching you from Biafra Economic Forum to say rest in peace, Biafrans that were killed in millions in the course of the Civil War. 30th May 1967 till date. And 30th May 2020 is another day to remember those that were killed. May their soul rest in perfect peace. Amen and amen and amen.